Singer, songwriter, educator, Woody Guthrie was one of the first to use his platform as a social activist, and he's inspired generations of musicians. Here at the Woody Guthrie Center, they are dedicated to preserving his stories and keeping his messages alive. Well, the second I stepped inside the Woody Guthrie Center, I kind of felt like Woody was here. What a beautiful space.
It truly is, and thank you, but we agree. It's a beautiful space, and I think it reflects Woody well. When people walk in, they should feel warm and welcomed, like Woody would expect.
This spot is full of history and great artifacts from this incredible, dynamic life. And I like something you said earlier to me today. You said that it's called the Woody Guthrie Center for a reason, and not necessarily a museum.
Well, when people come here, we want it to be a center, a hub of investigation for inspiration. We want people to leave here and have Woody and his friends inspire them to then go out and create on their own, and then be proud of themselves and in their work. That's the Woody message. So we want to inspire a new generation to find their own voices, as well as the older generation to understand they still have a voice. Woody's message was stand up, step up, do your thing, and be proud of yourself.
And he was living proof of that. For anybody who might not be as familiar with Woody Guthrie's story, the person, the man, his mission, can you kind of set the tone and explain who he was?
In a nutshell, he was one of the first artists to use his platform as a social activist platform, to speak for equality and diversity, social justice. In 1940, he was writing things that sound like they could have been written during the civil rights movement in the 60s.
Wow.
He was so far ahead of his time. Harmonizing, getting people together, singing a common song, creating a movement so that they were improving the world.
When people come to the Woody Guthrie Center, what awaits them? What do we find in this beautiful space?
Well, at the core, of course, we have Woody's story, because we have Woody's archive here. But honestly, while it's Woody's story as an example, it's the story of who we all are as a people. The way that we use our talents and our voices to speak for people who maybe don't feel like they have a voice. We've got a letter over here from John Lennon that was written 8 years after Woody died that says, "Dear whoever, Woody lives and I'm glad." And we use that all the time, especially with our young people who come through, because there needs to be an understanding that just because someone is no longer here physically, their message is still here. Woody's still here.
Yeah. He's definitely among us today for sure. This is such a great space, and you've got a great variety of exhibits here. There's one I wanted to check out for sure about the Dust Bowl and a really special connection to Woody. You want to check that out?
Yes, let's go.
Let's do it. Well, we found a comfy place on the porch, which is one of my favorite places to hang out. This is very cool. But this is not just any porch. This is really authentic. I mean, this is straight out of the Panhandle.
The person who constructed this for us is an amazing artist. He went to the Panhandle of Oklahoma and found these 3 houses that were pre-1930 construction, so this would survive the Dust Bowl.
A real connection to that era, because that's the point of this exhibit here, is to explain the Dust Bowl through really amazing technology, so kind of bridging the past and the future. Explain that connection a little bit to the center and to Woody Guthrie.
Woody was in Okemah, Oklahoma when he was a young boy, and then when he was 17, he moved to Pampa, Texas, right in the middle of the Dust Bowl. So he experienced Black Sunday, and then traveled to LA, saw the migrant worker camps, those displaced workers, how they were treated. Those were his people. And he understood, because he was on the radio and getting lots of fan letters, he understood that he had the opportunity to speak to hundreds and thousands of people on behalf of those migrants. That is part of what we consider Woody becoming.
And so here we have a really cool exhibit. I just did this a little bit ago, and it's really incredible. It's a real experience of the Dust Bowl and what Black Sunday might have been like for Woody Guthrie.
We need to allow people to experience what it was like to be sitting on a porch just at their home and watching this horrific storm approaching.
It really does leave an impact, just like Woody Guthrie did, just like the Woody Guthrie Center will do for countless visitors over the next generation. Thank you so much for showing us around. There are more exhibits to check out here. I'm going to be one of those guys who leaves a really great review on TripAdvisor for this right here, and I can't wait to explore the rest of the museum. Dina, thank you for having us. This is so fascinating. You guys,
That's great.
You've got to make this a stop. This is so cool. Thank you.
Well, thank you for being here.